Imagine the panic that hits you when the countdown timer on a flash sale hits 0 and the product disappears. Ever wondered why a "only 3 left" badge makes your heart race, or why a sold-out concert poster haunts you for weeks? In the next 10 minutes, we're going to crack the secret behind that rush. And it isn't magic, it's psychology. What would you do if you only had 24 hours to claim a once-in-a-lifetime offer? Think about that for a moment. I remember the first time I missed out on a limited edition sneaker that I'd been eyeing for months. The moment the sold-out banner flashed, a wave of regret washed over me, and I could still hear that little voice asking, "What if I had acted faster?" That feeling is more than disappointment. It's a powerful driver of desire that marketers have learned to tap into. Scarcity, at its core, is the perception that something is rare, unavailable, or about to vanish. It's a fundamental trigger of desire that shapes everything from the products we buy to the choices we make on social media, in our relationships, and even in our careers. By the end of this video, you'll understand the science behind scarcity, see how marketers weaponize it, and learn 3 practical ways to use or protect yourself from it. Let's start with a bit of history. The scarcity principle first entered the spotlight in the work of a social psychologist who identified 6 key ways people influence each other. Scarcity sat right beside authority, reciprocity, and the others as the 5th pillar. Early experiments in the late 70s showed that participants were far more likely to choose a chocolate bar labeled limited edition than an identical bar with no label. A similar study on ticket sales revealed that people rushed to buy seats when they were told only a handful remained, even if the event was otherwise unremarkable. These classic tests taught us that loss aversion, the pain of missing out, outweighs the pleasure of gaining something new. Think about Black Friday doorbusters. Stores line up a handful of deeply discounted items, announce that they're available for a short window, and watch shoppers surge through the aisles. The fear of losing the chance to own that deal pushes us to act faster than we normally would. If that works on a massive scale, what does it say about the wiring of our brains? When we sense scarcity, a cascade of neural activity lights up. Anticipation of a scarce reward spikes dopamine, the chemical that fuels craving and motivation. At the same time, a region called the anterior cingulate cortex flags the conflict between our desire and the looming loss, creating a sense of urgency. The amygdala, our brain's alarm system, kicks in with a mild stress response, nudging us toward quick decision-making. Imagine a simple animation where a "only 2 left" banner appears, and a bright pulse travels from the visual cortex to these reward centers, amplifying the feeling that we must act now. All of this means our brains are literally hardwired to chase scarcity. Marketers have been exploiting this wiring for decades, and the digital age has turned the dial up to 11. Countdown timers on e-commerce sites, flash sale pop-ups, and deal ends in 12 hours. Banners all tap into that dopamine surge. Limited quantity messages like "only 5 left in stock" combine scarcity with social proof. We see others rushing. We feel the pressure to join. Social media platforms add another layer. Instagram stories disappear after 24 hours. Snapchat streaks demand daily interaction. And push notifications constantly remind us of time-sensitive offers. Even outside of products, scarcity shapes our daily lives. Dating apps flash a "you've got a match" notification that fades if you don't respond quickly. Job postings often read "only 1 position left," urging candidates to submit applications immediately. The principle seeps into friendships too. The fear of missing out on a gathering can make us overcommit, even when we're already stretched thin. Understanding how scarcity works gives us power. In the next segment, we'll explore 3 practical strategies you can use to harness this force for your own goals, and 3 safeguards to keep you from falling prey to it.
If this is blowing your mind, hit that subscribe button, and let's keep exploring together.
Let's start with the first strategy. Create artificial scarcity for your personal projects. Imagine you are launching a new online course or a limited edition piece of artwork. By announcing a small, finite number of spots or copies, you tap directly into the brain's dopamine system that we just described. The key is to be authentic. People can sense when scarcity is a bluff. Set a realistic cap, and then communicate it clearly. For example, you might say that only a handful of seats will be available for the live workshop, and that once they're filled, the price will rise. When you pair that with a countdown clock on your landing page, the sense of urgency becomes tangible. Viewers who see the ticking timer experience that subtle stress response from the amygdala, nudging them to act before the window closes. The second tactic is to use scarcity in your daily habit formation. If you want to build a new habit, such as writing a paragraph each morning, treat each day as a limited resource. You could give yourself a fixed number of write or lose tokens each week. Once they're spent, the opportunity is gone until the next reset. This tricks the brain into treating the habit like a rare reward, increasing motivation through the same dopamine surge that makes flash sales irresistible.
You can even gamify it by posting a visual tracker that shows the remaining tokens, creating a social proof effect when friends see you racing against the clock.
The third approach is to leverage scarcity in your networking and relationship building. When you reach out to a potential mentor or collaborator, frame your request as a brief, time-boxed conversation. For instance, you could say, "I have a 10-minute window tomorrow to discuss a quick idea that could benefit both of us." By limiting the time you ask for, you give the other person a sense that the opportunity is fleeting, which often leads to a faster, more positive response. The brain interprets this as a rare chance, and the fear of missing out can outweigh the hesitation to say no. Now that we have 3 ways to harness scarcity, let's turn to the safeguards, the tools that keep us from being manipulated by external scarcity cues. The first safeguard is to pause before you act. When you see a "only a few left" badge or a countdown timer, give yourself a mental buffer of at least 30 seconds. In that pause, your prefrontal cortex can assess whether the product truly adds value or whether the urgency is merely a marketing ploy. You might even write down the pros and cons, or ask yourself whether you would still want the item if the timer disappeared. This simple pause can break the automatic dopamine rush and give you room for rational decision-making. The second protective measure is to set personal limits on exposure to scarcity triggers. If you know that push notifications from shopping apps cause you to open them impulsively, turn those alerts off or schedule specific times to check them. By reducing the frequency of deal ends in 12 hours messages, you lower the constant activation of the brain's alarm system. You can also curate your social media feed to avoid endless streams of limited-time offers, which often exploit the same psychological mechanisms we discussed earlier.
Creating a calmer digital environment helps you stay focused on genuine priorities rather than fleeting temptations.
The third safeguard is to cultivate a mindset of abundance. When you remind yourself that resources are not always finite, you diminish the power of scarcity cues.
Practice gratitude by listing 3 things you already have that bring you joy, and reflect on how those assets are stable and reliable.
This shift engages the brain's reward pathways in a different way, fostering satisfaction that is not dependent on the chase of limited offers. Over time, an abundance mindset can counterbalance the fear of missing out, allowing you to make choices based on true desire rather than external pressure. Let's put these ideas into a quick mental exercise. Think of a recent purchase you made because it was almost sold out. Now, replay the moment in your mind and ask, did you truly need that item, or did the ticking clock simply hijack your decision?
Write your answer in the comments below. I love hearing your stories, and it helps us all become more aware of these subtle influences.
If you found these strategies and safeguards useful, consider sharing this video with a friend who might be struggling with impulse buys or who wants to boost their productivity. A simple share can start a ripple of awareness that protects more people from the hidden grip of scarcity.
And if you're enjoying the deep dive into human behavior, give this video a thumbs up.
Your likes signal to the algorithm that we're on the right track, and they help more curious minds discover the content. Before we wrap up, remember that scarcity is a double-edged sword. It can be a powerful catalyst for action when you wield it intentionally, but it can also be a silent thief of rationality when it's wielded by others.
By mastering the 3 practical tactics and reinforcing the 3 protective habits, you gain control over your own choices.
You become the one who decides when a limited-time offer is truly valuable, and when it's simply a clever trick to spark a dopamine rush. What do you think about the balance between using scarcity for growth and protecting yourself from its manipulation?
Drop your thoughts in the comments section, and let's keep the conversation alive.
I'm eager to hear how you plan to apply these concepts in your own life. Whether it's launching a product, building a habit, or navigating the endless stream of online deals.
Thanks for staying with me through this exploration of the psychology of scarcity.
If you want more deep dives into the hidden forces that shape our behavior, make sure to subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss an episode.
Until next time, stay curious, stay mindful, and remember, the power to choose is always within your reach.